Hello, welcome to Pittsburgh Tech Talk. Today we have a great show. We're talking to Jon Shanahan, very interesting young entrepreneur making his way around Pittsburgh. He's involved in a new boating, ice cream boat business that's going to be pretty interesting, I think. His family, two different entrepreneurial families kind of came together to make him. So it'll be very exciting. We're going to talk about a lot of the food truck industry and what's happening in that world. A lot of the kind of hospitality industry around Pittsburgh and how things are changing and how companies like his family are kind of helping facilitate these new technologies. So going to be a great show. Thanks again for tuning in and welcome to Pittsburgh Tech Talk.
1, 2, 3, 4, get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing 5, 10, gonna do it right and do it again, yeah. I look into the sky with all the beautiful color, but there's more than just for me, so gonna share it with another. I got to show, to give, let out. I want to sing and shout. Take a look and see a beautiful morning that turns into a beautiful evening, and together make a beautiful life. And if you wanna see, then come along with me, that's right. And if you want a good tomorrow, it's pretty simple, gotta find a light to follow.
All right, we have Jon Shanahan in the studio today. I'm pretty pumped about this. We've been chatting a lot behind the scenes on our live feed. Very interesting stuff, everything from ice cream to boats to solar panels and everything in between. So without further ado, Jon, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Pittsburgh native, long time from the Baldwin-Whitehall area. Actually, Phil and I went to the same high school, which we just learned narrowly missed each other.
Just almost a decade.
Yeah.
That close.
Very close. I really started out, my entrepreneurial spirit comes from both sides of my grandparents. My mom's side started Sugar and Spice Ice Cream 1984, so we're over 30 years now in business.
Which I used to attend a lot.
Yeah.
I was a big fan. I don't remember what I would get there, but I think root beer float would probably be my default.
Root beer floats, yeah. That or we used to make our own vanilla Coke, because we'd take the vanilla syrup, the Coca-Cola, mix it up, and then throw some ice cream in there.
Oh, very cool.
Stuff. Yeah. So Sugar and Spice, and then on my dad's side of the family had a transportation company. So both started their own business, so my blood always flows with always wanting to find out new things, build things, and very cool. So
and now you're involved in the food truck industry.
Yeah.
And then another little secret industry we're going to jump into. But why don't you describe the food truck
side
of things?
30 years now with Sugar and Spice at the 51 location, and then last year my uncle Kevin kind of went out and we got a truck. We started to go to these private events where you see a lot of food truck roundups, catering events at businesses and other places. And last year they were a lot busier than they anticipated to be. So great first year on the road. And then he picked up a houseboat in the middle of the summer and decided we would be the first food boat on the Three Rivers for,
I love that idea.
Pirates games, Steelers games, kayakers when you're out on the water. They'll be docked in the Southside Marina, so we'll be stationed there. You can catch them
where I live.
Yeah.
It's like you guys are following me around wherever I go. Like I'm the trendsetter and you guys are just
we went
following
Baldwin,
Phil.
Southside.
Yeah.
We'll be over in the Point Park wherever we can kind of set up where it's safe to hand ice cream. That's where they'd like to go. And so down by the Hoffer House is going to be kind of the main place where we'll be stationed, because there's the big marina right down there.
Yeah, I love that. I ride my bike on the trail, so very familiar with it. So are you going to actually be working on this boat at all?
I don't know how much I'll be down there working, but I'll come down for some ice cream, and I'll make sure that we get the word out. I know there's the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and the Trib has covered what we're doing, and you can follow it on Facebook on the Sugar and Spice boat as we build. We're finishing the build now. My Uncle Kevin has spent the winter he gutted it, he took all the walls and the floors out and has just rebuilt this boat now to be an ice cream and a food truck. Yeah.
Very cool. So can people get on the boat, or?
We're not going to that's a little bit of a safety hazard thing. Okay. So we don't want people to go from dock to boat and everything else. But we'll be handing out plenty of access to handing.
That's exciting. Like you said, this is the first food. Maybe the ice cream industry is always innovating, because if you think of it, the first food truck really is the ice cream truck.
Yeah,
really?
Definitely. And they got the song, everyone knows the song.
And then I just made that connection there. So it's like, and now boats. So maybe in 20, 30 years, everyone's just going to use boats instead of trucks.
Well, I mean, Pittsburgh was built around the rivers, and so now we're going to bring the food industry over there. We hope that us being on the river gets, if we had fish tacos right from the river. You can come get fish, or if the Southside barbecue guys want to get out on the river. I mean, if we can get this kind of moving, then people take the Gateway Clipper from different parts of the city over to get to the game, and so we got to utilize these rivers.
Yeah. So will you actually stop like the Gateway Clipper, like throw ice cream? Have you talked to them at all, like how you're going to handle that?
No, I don't know if we want to necessarily get into
Food piracy,
food vandalism on the rivers. But hey, if we can stop over at the Gateway Clipper and be buddies with them, I mean, we'll serve anywhere we can.
Get some selfie sticks so you can like hand up.
Yeah.
And sell us some ice cream.
You need like those claws. You get it like Advanced Auto Parts, and you just kind of hand it around.
I think this is a great idea. I think I'm really helping you evolve your business model here, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
So you've been involved outside of the food industry. You've been involved like doing marketing for like Edgar Snyder. The guy, he has a big ponytail, right?
Little known fact is when he wears that leather jacket, he's tucking it back into the leather jacket.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
And we can cite this and put it on Wikipedia.
If we want to, yeah.
Yeah.
I worked for Edgar Snyder for a year in social media, and so Twitter and Facebook, a lot of YouTube content. Actually, some of the stuff that I did is still up there, and then some of the ads, and actually, No Fee TV, which was the public access TV show. Worked on that for a while too.
Oh, competitor to PC TV here on this public
They're
access?
on PCNC. Yeah.
Oh, we'll have to talk to Carl about that. I don't know if we have to beat
I'm a rogue
that out
agent.
maybe.
I'm a rogue agent.
Okay.
No, they're not on air anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll let it go.
Yeah.
We'll talk bad about them. And...
Yeah, this was 2013, so
wow.
it's in the past.
So long ago.
So long ago. I can't believe it. Yeah.
So what are you going to do to help your family's brand? So you're kind of both, you're involved. You haven't started your own thing yet. Your family, you come from two sets of entrepreneurs. What's the next thing for Jon?
Well, that's what I'm excited about now, especially as you were talking about the event coming up for what was Create Pittsburgh?
Create Pittsburgh.
Create Pittsburgh. I mean, I've always kind of had an interest in what's going on nationally. I mean, you look at Silicon Valley and things going on in Austin and New York, but I mean, we live in this hub right now for, you get things coming out of CMU. You've got companies like 4Moms that are, I mean, I've had every 4Moms product, if you didn't know. The only one I don't have is the stroller. So 4Moms, if you want to make a deal, I'm looking for I need a double stroller though.
All right, free advertising right there for 4Moms.
But you got 4Moms, you've got you've got these companies, robotics companies, and it's just amazing what's going on in the city. And you've got companies like iFlow, right? I mean, you've got entrepreneurs that are just starting these companies all over the place, and you don't have to be in San Francisco or in New York to really build a really cool business on the web. And so kind of getting involved and meeting you, and I know Chris Evans, I worked with him. Actually, when I worked at Apple, worked with the business team.
Yeah, you watched, he was on the show.
Yes.
Saw him on there. Me and Chris have been doing business for, 15 years, which is amazing. Just we're two guys that are very entrenched in this tech culture, tech world. And I used to be more heavily into sales. I don't really like doing sales anymore. That's his world. He lives by it. He's still out there hustling and grinding. But yeah, I think you're starting to meet the old timer, which is like mid-30s, late 30s guys.
Yeah.
But I think you're doing it the right way. You reached out to me. Yeah, and that's how you kind of got on here. It was kind of like a last minute, like, oh, this guy sounds impressive. He seems professional. Didn't know I was a decade older than you. You're making me look terrible. But we'll just Photoshop the crow's feet.
It's just a number.
I guess, you're right. I don't even think of it anymore. But when I go to these groups and I realize I am a decade older and they bring it up, I'm like, oh man, yeah, I guess I'm not a young entrepreneur, startup guy anymore. I have to like take that pill and realize I am the upper middle age.
Well, see, we have both sides of the coin. I work a lot with retailers, and I talk to the C-level, and they're all 50s and 60s, and they look at me and they're like, this young guy in here? And so we're always battling it. You can't win.
I think it's a lot better now, though. When I started my company, there was no such thing as like young tech gurus. We didn't have Zuckerbergs, and we had Bill Gates, we had Steve Jobs. We didn't have young.
But even then, they were probably in their 40s, right?
Yeah, but I was in my teens, in early 20s, so it was very hard to get respect. So things have changed a lot. I think it's a lot better for entrepreneurs now because people really respect that young drive and hustle and see what can happen. Because now, I mean, this is before there was I had a Nokia phone back then. I played Snake was my only app.
Right.
So now there's so much going on. And they see young people creating these $10 million, $20 million companies in a year or two. I think that these older guys are gonna, as long as you present yourself correctly, I think they're willing to give you some slack.
Oh yeah. But not everybody can pull the hoodie off like Zuckerberg does.
You should. I never get dressed up for meetings, and I think it's respectable when you do that. I think when you don't try to go overboard, when you don't try to dress up, that's when you get the respect. As long as you have the content to back it up. If you have something that you're pushing and you're confident, you can literally go in wearing whatever you want, and I feel people are going to respect that.
I used to wear ties every day at Edgar Snyder.
Oh.
Yeah. Haven't worn a tie in a while though, but
well, you're wearing a button-up. You're dressed very well today.
Yeah.
It's very fashion-forward of you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
It'll get more viewers on the show, I'm sure, when they see the little thumbnail. So, what are you excited about Pittsburgh? So you're involved in the food scene, you're involved in the boat scene, you're involved in the sweet sugar and spices scene.
Yeah.
What are you excited about in Pittsburgh?
Well, not only the food trucks and the restaurants. I mean, if you read, even New York Times is saying that Pittsburgh is this food hub right now. I think you had mentioned there's like 17 restaurants opening in the next 2 months.
I might have made up that number, but that's what in my head.
There's a large amount of restaurants opening
in
the next few months. I mean, if you look at, Lawrenceville has totally transformed in the last 10 years. The city, when I worked in downtown, I worked in the Steel Tower in 2013, and there were some restaurants you can go to. I mean, you had Bluebird Kitchen had just opened, or NOLA in Market District, but now you go down there and you've got Meat and Potatoes was new at that point.
Amazing place.
Yeah, and Siena Mercado, and
Amazing.
all of these places are just kind of popping up in the cultural district, and that's exciting in itself. But then also, like my company, First Insight, is we're bringing technology, Silicon Valley-like into Pittsburgh. Like you've got Snap Retail, and you've got No Wait, and you've got Jazz, and you've got all these companies, and ShowClicks, and it's like all these companies that are doing great things nationally, bring that name back to Pittsburgh. And so just kind of technology companies and kind of this this marriage of having both technology and customers and business and that type of thing is just really exciting. So you got food, you got technology, you got robotics, you got baby gear. I mean, we've got everything.
You love Four Moms. This is like.
I do like Four Moms.
Do you have a Four Moms T-shirt, or do you have like an advisor out there that's like?
No, but I'm a sucker for really good design. I mean,
Okay.
that's why people like Apple products. That's why Four Moms is a robotics company that is making baby products, and then it's just that marriage of the two things.
So,
like you said, with the event coming up, it's got arts and technology and probably music, right? You got all those things coming together. Pittsburgh Marathon had bands at every few miles. It's just like it's a really cool time to be here.
And I think Peduto also plays a large part. I mean,
Definitely.
Love myself some Peduto. Very cool guy. We had him on the show a few weeks ago. It was amazing. But I think he's really helping push that. I think the old Pittsburgh used to be very conservative. It was hard to let any of this stuff happen. And I feel Bill's kind of a driving force behind a lot of this stuff. He's a very liberal, cool kind of.
Well, he's been very open to the changes in the food truck laws because, James Rich of the taco truck has been very open about how unfriendly those laws were for a while, and Bill was very open to hearing that and kind of making some of those changes. And things are changing now, and they're ever evolving very quickly. And Bill has definitely acknowledged, we need to change some things to make sure that we do foster this innovation, because you can get all the smartest people in the world in the same place, but if you got bureaucracy holding them down, there's only so much they can do.
Yeah, and that is an issue that I think we're always going to face here, and it's an older town, but there seems to be a lot of drive towards that, and I just don't see us going back. I think you're a little younger. You didn't see how bad it was. Even 10 years ago, it was really bad. And I feel in the last 5 years, it has just completely changed. But I mean, it's almost non-recognizable, the tech scene in the last 10 years in Pittsburgh. There's a few big companies, and now there's just a million small companies, and everyone's working together, and it's a very great vibe. And that's why we're starting shows like this, to try to talk to everybody and see who's working their way up. And then, maybe in 10 years, you're going to be having a show on here. I'll hand the torch.
Yeah.
You could be interviewing young upstarts about boats and ice creams. And
when I'm a decade older,
there you go. You never know. You never know what you'll be. Maybe you'll be the next Jazz. You'll be the next Don Charlton.
That's right.
You never know.
Yeah.
So what do you want? We have a few minutes left here. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to pitch? Do you want to talk about your ice cream? Do you want to talk about followers? Do you want to talk about what do you want to tell the viewers here?
I think you need to support the industries that are booming in Pittsburgh. So support the food industry. try new restaurants. Don't go to Denny's all the time just because you know, you're used to it and you're comfortable with it. Try a new pizza place. There's a new pizza place that opened in Brentwood that does, my wife is gluten-free, they do gluten-free.
Oh, nice.
And so that's huge because the only place we could go before was Domino's, actually. Domino's has gluten-free pizza. But
It's just terrible food.
Which is, I mean, it's very highly engineered, so it tastes okay, you know. But, you know, that's entrepreneurship in itself. That's a person who said, I want to make pizza, I want to start a pizza shop, and so supporting those types of things is very important. Same thing with the food trucks. I know Pittsburgh Po' Boy, he started out in the Pittsburgh Public Market. Unfortunately, Pittsburgh Public Market closed, and that left people without
bad marketing.
places to be.
It was bad marketing on
that was
part.
I know. I went in there and I was like, I couldn't believe. I only went down there the first time about a month before it closed, and I'm like, I can't believe this has been here, and I didn't have any idea.
I tried talking with them.
Yeah.
Free advice, pro bono, do X, Y, and Z, and you'll be way more successful, but you can lead a horse to water.
Yeah.
But hey, Jon, I appreciate coming on the show. Very excited. I'm going to be watching your career here. We're going to be connecting via social media. Hopefully, Four Moms is going to give you like some kind of advertising contract or something like that.
No, come buy ice cream. I can buy my own Four Mom stuff. I want you to support the ice cream industry.
All right, fair enough. Well, thanks, Jon. Thanks for being on the show.